Have you ever actually done the math? If you wake up at 7 inches the morning, spend an hour getting to work 8 hours, then another hour to get home, you're spending 10 hours a day working for money. But what about your money? It's just sitting in a bank account earning barely 1% interest a year. Basically, your money is sleeping all day while you are working yourself to the bone. Is that fair? Today, I'm not going to teach you how to day trade or chase hot stocks. Instead, I'm sharing the exact asset allocation strategy I use, and we are going to base it on the ultimate financial milestone, $10,000. The core concept is incredibly simple. Make your money work for you instead of constantly chasing after money. I know a lot of people panic the second they hear the word investing. You might picture yourself glued to a screen watching stock ticker soar, worrying you'll wake up broke. But honestly, if your investments are keeping you up at night, that's not financial planning. That's just self-inflicted stress. Proper asset allocation should be like setting your washing machine. You pick the cycle, hit start, and go do your own thing. When the time is up, the laundry is naturally done. Let me ask you, if you had $10,000 right now, what would you do with it? Lock it in a fixed deposit? Buy an insurance savings policy? Or just leave it in your checking account or savings plan? I see so many friends bust their backs saving for years, only to let the money rot in the bank for a few bucks in interest. Meanwhile, they watch inflation drive prices up, and their actual purchasing power just keeps dropping. It's like busting your hump carrying water up a mountain, completely unaware that there's a hole in the bottom of your bucket. Before we get into the exact step-by-step, we need to bust three massive, deep-rooted myths. Myth number 1. Investing is dangerous. Saving is safe. Sounds logical, right? But here is the reality check. Right now in the US, the inflation rate is around 3.3%. But the national average yield for a one-year fixed deposit is only about 1.9%. That means your money is actually shrinking by 1.4% every single year. Over 10 years, the actual purchasing power of your $10,000 drops to around $8,700. Does that still sound safe to you? Myth number 2. You need a lot of money to start investing. A lot of people think you shouldn't even bother unless you have hundreds of thousands of dollars. But $10,000 is actually a fantastic starting line. The amount doesn't matter. What matters is building the system. It's like going to the gym. You wouldn't refuse to work out just because you only have 10-pound dumbbells. The point is to build the habit and get your form right. Myth number 3. Investing means staring at charts and doing tons of research. If you're a professional investor, sure. But for most 9-to-5ers, your time is way too valuable. Instead of burning 3 hours researching individual stocks, use that time to level up your skills, hang out with your family, or just get some good rest. The whole core spirit of passive investing is admitting the market is smarter than you. Don't try to beat it, just join it. So why do I emphasize the $10,000 number? Because it's a psychological threshold. When your investment account hits 5 figures and starts generating cash flow, you'll truly feel what it's like to have your money work for you for the very first time. Let's assume an annualized return of 6%. That's $600 a year, which averages out to $50 a month. Now, $50 might not sound like a lot, but this money is being generated automatically while you sleep, while you're binge-watching Netflix, or while you're kicking back on vacation. That feeling will completely change how you view money. I remember the very first time I saw automatic dividends hit my investment account. It was a magical feeling. Even though it wasn't a huge amount, it was the first time I truly understood what passive income meant. It's like planting a tree. It grows slowly, but you know it's getting bigger every day. And eventually, it's going to bear fruit. This psychological shift is incredibly important because it makes you look at work and life from a completely different angle. But here's the key question. If asset allocation is so simple, why do most people still fail to do it? The answer is that most people lack a system. They might watch a YouTube video and rush out to buy a certain stock, or hear a friend mention a hot fund and blindly follow along with zero overall planning. It's like wanting a healthy body, so on a whim you go run 10 miles. But then you don't exercise at all for the next 3 months. Of course, that's not going to work. So let me share my $10,000 allocation system. This system is divided into 3 core layers, which I call the safety net, the growth engine, and the opportunity bullets. Layer 1, the safety net. I hold back 20%, which is $2,000, as an emergency fund. This money is not for investing. Instead, it goes into a high-yield checking account, a savings plan, or a short-term fixed deposit. You might be thinking, isn't that a waste? But trust me, this $2,000 is the ultimate source of your psychological security. When you know you have cash ready if a pipe bursts at home, your car needs repairs, or you suddenly lose your job, That is when you can confidently let the rest of your money go to work. A lot of people fail at investing not because they picked the wrong assets, but because an emergency pops up and they are forced to sell at a loss. It's like running a marathon. If you sprint too fast at the start, you won't survive the later miles. This $2,000 is the key to maintaining a steady pace. Layer 2, the growth engine. This is the core of the entire allocation. I put 60%, which is $6,000, right here. The goal for this chunk is long-term, steady growth. I mainly invest in a combination of global stock ETFs and bond ETFs. Specifically, I split this $6,000 into two parts. 70% goes into ETFs that track the broad stock market, like Vanguard's VT, VOO, or VTI. The other 30% goes into bond ETFs or investment-grade corporate bonds. Why allocate it this way? Because stocks represent growth. Over the long term, annualized returns can hit 8% to 10%, but the volatility is higher. Bonds, on the other hand, provide stability. Even though the returns are lower, usually around 3% to 5%, when the stock market drops, bonds typically stay stable or even go up. Combining these two asset classes allows your portfolio to grow without experiencing wild, stomach-churning swings. Now, here is a major key point. Don't obsess over trying to buy at the absolute lowest point. Timing the market is impossible. Even professional fund managers can't do it consistently. A much better approach is dollar cost averaging, or do what I do. I take this $6,000 and divide it across 6 months, investing $1,000 every single month. This averages out your purchase cost, so you don't have to kick yourself if you drop it all in at once right before a market peak. Layer 3, opportunity bullets. I hold the final 20%, which is $2,000, as flexible cash. The purpose of this money is to give you ammo to buy more when the market takes a clear dip. What counts as a clear dip? My personal rule is that when the broader market drops more than 15% from its peak, I start deploying this money in batches. You might ask, but what if the market just keeps going up? Isn't that $2,000 being wasted? Yes, but that is the trade-off. You can keep this $2,000 in a money market fund or short-term treasury ETFs, so it still earns 2% to 3%. It's not completely sitting idle. Plus, when the market actually crashes and everyone else is panic selling, you have the bullets to buy in. That psychological advantage is priceless. During the 2022 stock market drop, I used this exact opportunity fund. A lot of people were wailing and panicking, but I was actually excited because I knew it was a rare opportunity. And sure enough, when the market rebounded in 2023, the extra money I put in gained over 30%. Listening up to this point, you might be thinking this sounds a bit complicated. How do I actually start? The execution steps are actually much easier than you think. Step 1. Open a brokerage account. Opening an account online is incredibly convenient now. Just have your ID and your bank account details ready, and it takes maybe 10 minutes. When picking a broker, look for user-friendly interfaces and low fees. Most major brokers today offer zero commission trading for ETFs anyway. Step 2. Set up automatic transfers. This is crucial because human nature is lazy. If you have to log in and manually buy every month, you'll easily find excuses to procrastinate. Once you set it up, the system automatically buys in as soon as your paycheck hits. You don't even have to think about it. It's like an automatic mortgage payment. After a while, you get used to it and even forget the money is leaving your account. Step 3. Pick your ETFs. If you genuinely don't know what to pick, the easiest method is to just choose a total market ETF. You can go with Vanguard's VTI or VOO. Don't stress over finding the absolute best asset because there is no best. There is only what is most suitable. Instead of wasting time comparing which ETF is marginally better, it's better to just take action and start. Step 4. Set up a rebalancing schedule. What is rebalancing? Let's say you initially set your portfolio to 70% stocks and 30% bonds. After a year, because stocks grew faster, your portfolio is now 80% stocks and 20% bonds. At this point, you need to sell some of your stocks and buy some bonds to bring the ratio back to 70 to 30. This sounds completely counterintuitive, right? Sell the winners and buy the losers? But that is the exact essence of rebalancing. It forces you to sell high and buy low. I do this once every 6 months. It's not too frequent, but it's enough. Some people might find it annoying, but it takes less than 30 minutes, and it keeps your portfolio running in optimal condition. Step 5. Keep learning, but don't overreact. Investing is a lifelong journey. Of course, you need to learn new things and understand market shifts, but that doesn't mean you need to check the charts every day or tweak your portfolio every week. My habit is to spend 1 to 2 hours a month reading financial articles or watching videos just to understand the macro trends. I never chase short-term market swings. Remember this statistic. On average, retail investors underperform the market index by 3% to 5%. Why? Because of frequent trading and emotional decisions. The best investment strategy is usually the most boring one. Buy, hold, and rebalance. That's it. So what kind of returns can you expect from this setup? Based on historical data, a 70 to 30 stock-to-bond portfolio has a long-term annualized return of about 6% to 8%. That might not sound like a lot, right? But keep in mind that is your real return after accounting for inflation. If you invest your $10,000 and we calculate it at a 7% annualized return, in 10 years, it becomes nearly $20,000. In 20 years, it's over $38,000. In 30 years, it becomes over $76,000. And that is without calculating the effect of adding more money. If, on top of that initial $10,000, you can invest just $200 every month, your total assets will grow to over $300,000 in 30 years. That is the sheer power of compound interest. Einstein called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world, and he really wasn't joking. But I have to be completely honest with you. You will hit bumps in the road. You will inevitably experience market crashes. And looking at those paper losses is going to feel terrible. When the pandemic first hit in March 2020, my own account dropped by over 30%. That feeling is genuinely awful. But I didn't sell because I knew it was short-term volatility, and my asset allocation had bonds acting as a cushion. Sure enough, by the end of the year, not only did I make back the losses, but I also walked away with a solid profit. That experience drove home a profound lesson. Your biggest enemy in investing isn't the market, it's your own emotions. This is exactly why I constantly emphasize building a system, because a system helps you override your emotions. When the market tanks, you don't need to make any decisions because your system already tells you what to do. Just keep buying. There's another crucial mindset shift you need to make. Don't treat your investment returns as your only source of wealth. Investing is about making your money work for you, but your own human capital is actually your biggest asset. Think about it. If you are 30 years old right now, making $60,000 a year, and you work until you are 65, that is $2.1 million in sheer salary alone. And that's not even counting future raises. So instead of stressing entirely over your investment portfolio's yield, invest in yourself. Learn new skills, gain experience, and build your network. These things will grow your income, which in turn gives you more money to invest. I have a friend who is a perfect example of this. He also started with just $10,000 to invest, but at the same time, he worked incredibly hard to level up his professional skills. Over a few years, his salary jumped from $60,000 to $120,000. Because his income increased, the amount he could invest every year went up, and his wealth compounded way faster. Now he's 38. His portfolio is sitting at over $100,000, and it just keeps growing every year. I know I've thrown a lot of information at you, so let's quickly summarize the key takeaways. The core concepts of asset allocation are: diversify risk, hold long-term, and execute with discipline. Using our $10,000 example, put 20%, $2,000, in an emergency safety net. Put 60%, $6,000, into your core portfolio. Simple total market ETFs. Keep 20%, $2,000, as flexible cash for market dips. Set up automatic transfers, rebalance the portfolio once every 6 months, and then just be patient. This strategy won't make you rich overnight, but it will give you the very real possibility of financial freedom 10, 20, or 30 years down the line. More importantly, it lets you get there without daily anxiety, without staring at stock charts, and without worrying you picked the wrong stock. You can focus your time and energy on things that actually matter: your family, your health, your hobbies, and your career. I know that taking $10,000 of your hard-earned money and putting it into the market is a big decision. It's normal to feel fear and hesitation. But think about it. If you do nothing and just leave that $10,000 in the bank, how much of its purchasing power will be gone in 10 years? Inflation isn't going to wait for you to feel ready before it starts eating away at your wealth. Instead of passively watching your money lose value, proactively put it to work. Even if you feel scared or anxious at first, that's totally normal. But once you take that first step and set the system up, you'll realize it isn't anywhere near as scary as you thought. And as time goes on, when you see those numbers in your account slowly growing, that sense of achievement and security is irreplaceable. Lastly, I want to tell you, do not wait until you are ready to start, because you will never feel 100% ready. The market always has risk. There is always uncertainty, but that is not an excuse for inaction. What you need to do today when you get home is spend 30 minutes figuring out how to open a brokerage account, or sit down and list out your current assets to see how much you can start investing with. You don't have to do it all at once. You can start small. $100 or $200 a month is totally fine. The point is to build the habit. Once you get used to the process, you can slowly increase the amount. Remember, the best time to invest was 10 years ago. The second best time is right now. $10,000 might not seem like a massive, life-altering amount of money, but it can be the exact starting point of your road to financial freedom. When you finally start making your money work for you instead of constantly chasing after it, you will notice something amazing. Your daily stress will shrink, your confidence in the future will grow, and you will have the freedom to make choices. That is the true meaning of financial management. It's not just about becoming rich, it's about giving yourself the power of choice. Take action now. The you 10 years from now will thank the you of today for making this decision.